Good evening, and welcome back to the Shadow Nook. This evening we are visiting a place in Wales, located in Llanfihangel, Croconi, near Abergavenny in Monmouthshire, in Wales. The Skirrid Mountain Inn is where we will be visiting today. The inn claims to be the oldest pub in all of Wales. The inn sits at the foot of Skirrid Fawr, also known as the Skirrid Fawr, or the Holy Mountain. The Welsh name Skirrid translates to shattered or split, said to refer to the cleft in the mountain created at the moment of Christ's crucifixion, according to local legend. This connection to divine events gave the mountain, and by extension the inn, a reputation as a spiritually charged and haunted location. So let's look at some early history of the inn. The current building largely dates from the 17th century, but records suggest an inn stood here as early as the 12th century. 4 centuries it served travellers journeying through the Brecon Beacons and pilgrims climbing the Skirrid Mountain to visit the ruins of St Michael's Chapel on the summit. The inn's location near old trade and military routes meant it saw soldiers, monks and rebels pass through its doors. Some accounts claim that Owen Glyndwr, the Welsh rebel leader of the early 1400s, used the Skirrid Inn as a rallying point for his uprising against English rule, though this remains folklore rather than documented history. Over time, the inn became a community hub, a place of rest, ale, and later of judgment and punishment. So, one of the most infamous chapters of the inn's history involves its use as a makeshift courthouse and execution site. The first floor of the inn was reportedly used as a courtroom where local criminals were tried. Legend says over 180 people were sentenced to death here for crimes such as theft, sheep stealing, and highway robbery. Those condemned were said to be hanged from an oak beam above the staircase inside the inn itself. Visitors today can still see what are claimed to be groove marks in the beam where the rope once rubbed against the wood. This dark history has deeply coloured the building's atmosphere and inspired many of the hauntings reported within its walls. Next, we will move on to the spirit of the hanging judge. One of the most frequently reported entities is the ghost of the judge, said to have presided over the trials at the inn. Some believe this is Judge George Jeffreys, the infamous hanging judge of the bloody assizes. While no concrete evidence places Jeffreys at the Skirrid, the name has stuck due to its grim reputation. Witnesses describe feeling a heavy, oppressive presence on the staircase and upstairs corridors, as if being watched or judged. Sudden feelings of a tightness around the throat or pressure on the neck are often reported, as though an unseen noose were still at work. Visitors sometimes leave with unexpected red marks around their necks after spending time on the staircase. Perhaps the most well-known resident ghost at the Skirrid Mountain Inn is that of Fanny Price. Fanny was the wife of a 19th century innkeeper. She died of tuberculosis in the inn and is said to have never truly left. Her ghost is most often seen or felt in room 2 and throughout the upstairs corridors. Witnesses report a soft scent of lavender, rustling fabric, and the gentle impression of a woman's voice or sigh. Paranormal investigators describe temperature drops and sudden changes in atmosphere when her presence is near. Unlike some of the inn's more sinister spirits, Fanny's presence is often described as comforting or maternal. Moving on to some more troubled spirits at the inn. There are several spirits believed to be former prisoners or condemned men that are said to roam the inn. Room 1, upstairs, which once served as a holding cell, is considered especially active. Guests have reported things such as cold spots appearing suddenly, doors and windows opening or closing by themselves, unseen hands touching shoulders or faces, and disembodied whispers and moaning sounds. One tale describes a guest waking in the middle of the night to see a shadowy figure hanging from the ceiling beam, swaying silently in the dark. The ground floor is equally as active as the upstairs rooms. The bar area is said to be just as haunted. Staff and customers have reported glasses and bottles moving on their own, coins sliding across tables without explanation, and cold drafts that appear and vanish instantly. One famous story was of an investigator that saw a paper note lift into the air with coins balanced on the top, defying gravity for several seconds before dropping back onto the table. Other visitors have claimed to hear footsteps crossing the empty bar, or the clink of tankards, as if invisible patrons were still drinking there centuries later. So let's talk about the hanging beam. The oak beam above the staircase is arguably the inn's most infamous feature, said to be the very spot where prisoners met their fate. It's now one of the main attractions for ghost hunters and visitors. Some who touch it report feeling electric tingles. Others experience dizziness or nausea. Paranormal groups using EMF and temperature sensors have recorded unexplained spikes and cold spots directly underneath the beam. A few visitors claim to have captured orbs or misty shapes hovering around it in photographs. The atmosphere near the beam is widely described as unsettling, heavy and sorrowful. The Skirrid Mountain Inn is still a working pub and guest house, welcoming visitors from around the world. Despite, or perhaps because of, its eerie reputation, it remains a popular destination for ghost hunters, history buffs and paranormal investigators. Many teams have filmed there, including episodes of Most Haunted and Extreme Ghost Stories. Guests who stay overnight often report unexplained noises, cold sensations, and feelings of being watched even when they are alone. Whether one believes the tales or not, few can deny the haunting atmosphere that lingers in the inn's stone walls and oak timbers. The Skirrid Mountain Inn's long history, from pilgrim stop to courthouse to haunted pub, seems to have absorbed the energies of every soul who passed through its doors. Stories of justice, death, faith and fear intertwine here, leaving echoes that refuse to fade. To some, it's a charming relic of Welsh history. To others, it's a gateway to the past, where the living and the dead still share the same space. And if you ever climb the old staircase and pause beneath that very beam, who knows what might be standing beside you in the shadows? Before you go, I'd like to do your oracle card reading for this evening. We will do the Mystic Forest Oracle card deck. As usual, I will draw one card for you, and you can interpret it however you like. we have. Whatever you wish. When you lessen the importance of problems and suffering, life will swing back into balance. Stop the struggle and feel peace. The world responds to you. Let me know what this could possibly mean to you down below. Thank you again for joining me this evening in the Shadow Nook. Sleep well. Good night.